sibilance.
Okay, alrighty.
It was Tom Hanks
And
on Saturday Night Live when Aerosmith was on the Wayne's World thing. He was like the roadie.
oh, that's right.
He was like, check 1, 2, sibilance.
That's right.
Sibilance.
Yeah.
Check 1, 2, 3.
So, you watched the NBA draft lottery?
I did not catch the lottery. I was pulling, hopeful. My boys would get a top 4 pick, but they did not. They got
Your boys meaning Dallas?
yes.
What they end up getting?
Nothing since they had the top 4 protected pick with the
that's
Hawks last
right.
year. If they would have got finished in the top 4, so I got pretty excited because we all thought it was rigged, but with the Pelicans getting it, I don't think it is rigged anymore.
See, I see you say that, but
I don't know. I mean, they're just trying to make New York crappy. I don't know.
no, the Pelicans getting the first pick, it means it is rigged because they're going to lose their biggest star in Anthony Davis, who incidentally they got last time they had the number 1 pick.
Man, I don't really think there's a footprint in NBA needing New Orleans to be good.
Here's my problem with the NBA draft is the worst teams in the league are picking 5th and 6th.
Oh yeah, I hate that.
That is ridiculous. And the rules changed this year because they don't want people to tank, so they changed the odds or whatever. But 3 of the 4 top teams, the Knicks were the only one that were in the top 4 that had the best odds to be in there. All the other 3 got bounced, and people with 6% odds got moved into the top 4. Like the Lakers, I think, had 7%. Memphis had 6% to get in the top 4, and they move in, and the teams that have 20% get booted out. It's just ridiculous. It's just go. Just go, and the worst teams need the best players. That's every other league does it that way. Why does the NBA have to be so different?
I think because the tanking and stuff that happened with like Philly and all that stuff where, I mean, they still did the lottery before that, but I think, they changed it up because of all the tanking that was happening. I've always been a fan of the lottery. It's kind of puts more oomph, on, the draft lottery night, it kind of makes it like where you want to watch, come on, and then you get to feel either
it
elated
opens
or
you up
disappointment.
it opens you up to the charges that you're rigged constantly.
I mean, I thought for sure the Knicks would get it. I don't just
the Knicks deserve the number 1 pick. They have no talent. They have sucked for years. They didn't tank. They traded their best player in the middle of the season to Dallas, but the guy was injured and wasn't going to play.
right.
So the Knicks deserve to have the number 1 pick.
And they're looking to get KD this week.
I hate to
or
say
not
it.
this week, this offseason.
Yeah, well, there's a bunch of rumors that the Knicks would have traded the number 1 pick and package to get Anthony Davis, but that's all up in smoke. But I just don't understand how you reward teams that are good with number 1 and number 2 picks, and you punish the teams that need those players. It's the only league that does it. And my bigger point on it is if you just went off of your regular season standings, nobody would say the league is rigged. Nobody would.
Right.
What's the first thing you heard yesterday when the Lakers didn't get 11th, and so that means they got to the top 4? Twitter exploded with the NBA is rigged. They want the Lakers to have a top 2 pick. Here's my other problem with the NBA draft, lottery, draft, whatever. There's 2 players that everybody wants in this draft. 3, really, with that guy from Murray State, 3 players that are can't miss, must-have players. And then after that, everybody's like, it doesn't matter. They're all the same.
Yeah. It's pretty much how it's always been with the draft.
But isn't that a problem? But isn't that a huge problem with the NBA that should tell you your talent is awful if, you only get excited for the top 2. Like even last year, there was only 2 players, Ayton and your boy that went to Dallas. After that, nobody cared who drafted where.
I think last year was pretty deep, though. I thought,
deep. It went deep to what? 4th, 5th player deep?
I think it went about to 7th or so last year. Which,
That is awful.
For being NBA, I mean, that's pretty good. That's deep, man. It is what it is. But, I mean, the reason why, all the focus is on Zion is because, ESPN created this monster that Zion was when he played at Duke. I mean, yeah, I get the guy's good and all, but, that's all they focused on. And then you got, you found out about Ja in the tournament, the casual
Is that the
everyday
Murray State
fan.
guy?
Yeah, I think so. See, how do we know? Because like
I know. I
he
don't even
wasn't
know his name. Yeah.
pushed down my throat every
No,
day like Zion was. But I mean, that happens like every year. Like when LeBron was drafted, it was all about LeBron and this high school kid's going to declare for the draft. He's going to be the next, Kobe Bryant, the next Michael Jordan. And then you also had Carmelo in that draft too, who was like, the best college player. He was more on the national scale, which,
Carmelo was way hyped too, though.
Yeah, he was. I'm not saying they weren't.
No, but that's my issue with it is you always have 3, 4, maybe in this case 2, 3 guys that are high up there that everybody like must have, can't miss players,
Yeah.
And then it's like literally everything I was reading last night and this morning was, it didn't matter if the Suns are picking 6th, and it didn't matter if the Suns picked 4th or the Suns picked 8th.
Because all those players are pretty much
the same player. Yeah. So you're going to get the same player, and it's just, just roll your dice, pick the guy you want, and, hope it works out type of a deal. Could you imagine? I mean, the NFL draft, round 6, is it? 7? Where they're picking people Northwest, and people are in the crowd cheering your team for picking this guy that you've never heard of or seen or anything, and you're excited about it. And then there's the NBA where the 4th pick for the Lakers are like, we'd like to trade this pick, but if not, we'll pick the best guy and hope it works out.
If you're looking at best available for the draft this year, Zion obviously number 1. A lot of people kind of debate him and Ja, but I think Zion just gets the nod because of where he was playing at. But Ja, I think, is going to be a really good player.
One of them's transcendent and is going to change the game, like a LeBron. Just his size and ability. If he stays healthy, he's going to change the game.
And then you have like the 4th pick, Darius Garland, Vanderbilt.
And he played 5 games. He played 5 games as a freshman, Jason.
Probably.
5. No, he did. 5 games as a freshman.
Oh, so you know about Darius Garland?
Yes, because he played 5 games as a freshman at Vanderbilt, got hurt. I think he might have, I'm assuming he got hurt. It could be, couldn't play anymore. But so he gets hurt, 5 games, and the guy's going to be the 4th pick. Nobody knows anything about the kid. You don't know anything about the kid. But the Lakers need a point guard.
Well, I mean, DeAndre Ayton, he started playing, his senior year of high school?
Okay.
So, I mean, he was number 1 last year.
Well, he at least played a whole season.
Sikio Dumbayo. I probably butchered that. Sorry if anybody in Guinea is listening, but he's best available on the board at number 8. Never heard of the guy. If I'm a team, I want Bull from Oregon because that's just a cool name.
How many European guys nobody's heard of that teams are going to draft and then stash them in Europe for like 4 years and never hear from them again? Like, it's just, I'm just exaggerating a point here, and I'm going to just nail it home right here by saying this is why the NBA is a joke. This is why it's a joke. Watching people watch this draft lottery last night and get all excited and disappointed. Like, Suns fans are like, Lakers get everything, and Knicks fans are literally jumping off of buildings today. Like literally jumping off of buildings today because they didn't get the number 1 pick.
And I was like, well, we got Luka.
And
man, I was hopeful they get a top 4. I wasn't planning on it, just the odds, but I was like, that'd be cool. That way we could keep our pick and not give it up to Atlanta. But then I was like,
But I think the Pelicans,
another crappy draft.
The Pelicans getting the number 1 pick. I mean, they sold. I heard the stat this morning. I don't have it in front of me, but from the time the pick was announced till like 2 a.m. New Orleans time, they sold like 2,000 new season tickets.
They went 300-1 to 25-1 odds on the NBA title.
And everybody's still assuming they're going to lose Anthony Davis. Those odds are with them still losing Anthony Davis. So.
Well, does Davis stay now? I mean, he's under contract, correct?
1 more year.
So, I mean,
this year.
You got him this year.
Yeah. No, that's what I mean. So
like, you think Davis is like, hey, you know what? That's not bad. Got Zion. All right, I can live with that. Let's do it.
I don't know. Well, first of all, no, because of his agent isn't his LeBron's guy.
I mean, the Pelicans are going to be like, hey, whatever. We don't care. You're staying here.
Yeah, well, that was a stance that they took last year, and they're not. They don't have to trade him. He doesn't want to play. But I mean, they got the next Anthony Davis. Let's just put it that way. But I was thinking about it this morning, and I was like, wouldn't that be hilarious if they draft that point guard kid that's like the second best guy, instead of Zion? It just blows everybody away. That would be like a New Orleans.
Well,
type of
some
thing to do.
circles like Jaw. So I mean, I'm not saying. I mean,
It depends what
which
you
one's
need.
going to be which. Yeah, I mean, it all depends on what you need and where you're playing at. I mean, you can say Zion's going to be this like player that transcends the world, but if you're playing in New Orleans and you're only superstar in New Orleans, you ain't transcending shit in the NBA because the NBA
No, you need two. That's why Anthony Davis needs to stay.
and you need a good market.
But if you can trade Anthony Davis and get 3 to 4 players that can play on your team now that want to prove the league wrong, just happy to be in the league and they'll play hard type of players on there. I mean, New Orleans, they're going to be on national TV next year because of him and everything. No, I'm just saying, in transcendent wise, he's huge. He can shoot from outside. I mean, he struggles a little bit at it, but he gets better. I mean, his hype is real, no doubt about that. I mean, it's ironic he's going to New Orleans because this is the way Anthony Davis was.
Oh yeah,
when he was in college that 1 year.
And I often forgot where Anthony Davis played at. I mean, and that's what happens. Like Zion's gonna be this guy. He's gonna come in. He's gonna be like huge, but in a few years they'll be like, oh yeah, Zion's with the Pelicans. Like we're going to random Suns Pelicans games. Like, oh hey, let's go see Zion play.
You mean you forgot Anthony Davis played in New Orleans?
I forgot Anthony Davis played anywhere.
Really? Well, this year.
Well, just because
this year was different.
When they're out of sight, out of mind, the NBA they're not clamoring for New Orleans games on national TV.
No, but
and you often forget with like the way free agency works in the NBA now. Every player is going this way, every player is going that way. It's hard to kind of keep up with it.
Well, I don't follow the NBA tightly, but I always knew because I mean he had Boogie Cousins there. They remember Boogie Cousins?
Yeah, they got Boogie from the Kings,
and then they were relevant.
Here we go.
And then they were relevant for a while and everything, but this is my whole issue. Is
not forget, but the whole out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah,
thing.
You
it's like you're often like, oh yeah, Anthony Davis. Yeah,
especially this year though, because they kind of shut him down after he tried that power play move, and they were like,
That made him more relevant in my eyes.
But I mean, this just my point on this is that this is why the NBA is a joke and they get laughed at all the time, and they don't seem to care. That's my favorite part of it. Is NBA is just like, oh well, well it is what it is. Second of all, you do the draft lottery last night, right?
We just started
May 14th.
Just started the Eastern. We had a basketball game last night in the playoffs.
Yeah. Did they do it at halftime or did they do it before the game? Whatever.
It was like 5:30 our time, so it was like in the middle of the game. Yeah.
I didn't even bother turning the game on last night. I mean, Tuesday nights are rough for me anyway with some personal kid stuff and everything. But I didn't even turn it on because the Warriors. I heard it was a blowout, but I'm just assuming the Warriors are sweeping and they're winning by 700 every game.
I looked today. I think it was 116 to 94. I didn't watch it either.
So it's a blowout. I heard it was a blowout all day. Now tonight, which brings me to my second point of why the NBA is god awful, and I don't understand what they're doing. So the draft, the worst teams don't get the best players, blah blah blah. So that's an issue. So then the second thing is so tonight, Milwaukee, who is the second best team left in the playoffs, I think most people agree on that, against the Warriors. And I think they're the only team that has a shot against the Warriors, but it's because they're young and they don't know what what they're going up against.
They don't know any better.
Yeah, like they're not going to overthink it. But Toronto makes it, right, over Philadelphia. When that was a heck of a final shot, by the way.
Yeah,
did you see that? Or bounced 5 times. My favorite is
one
listening
side
to
and the next side. Like, whew.
My favorite is listening to all the calls.
Toronto, I mean, obviously
from all the other
huge basketball influence there.
Yeah, well, I'm going to get to my Toronto point here on why this is going to hurt the NBA. But I mean, it was fun listening to all the radio calls from all the other countries on that because like literally everybody he shoots it and everybody's announcing it bounces and then it bounces and everybody gets quiet and then they just start screaming.
Yeah. They did a good job on the TV broadcast, kind of letting the moment play out there after it happened.
That was like the first time ever a Game 7 basket.
Yeah, was a buzzer
final
beater.
shot because usually you make it and then they can inbound the ball and nothing happens.
That was the first buzzer beater in Game 7 NBA history.
Which surprised me. It really did.
Because you always think about that Game 7 buzzer beater moment. Game 7 bases loaded.
Jordan had that one over Craig Elo that you assume is the last play of the game, but no, Cleveland still got the ball back and still could have won it or tied it.
Ours like Game 5.
Yeah, but so that was exciting. Then just the way it bounced around was pretty exciting. And then the other calls, but the one call you never heard anybody talk about and play. Nobody played the Philadelphia's home call. I'd never heard that on any of the channels that played all the other calls. Nobody, not one person played the Philadelphia.
Yeah, that's probably a sad one.
That's the one I want to hear though, because That unbelievably went in, and I want to hear what their reaction was, because I mean that was just a heartbreaker, man. The way it bounced around,
I mean, especially like
4 bounces, 5 bounces.
Like the player who does the broadcast, probably played there back in the 80s. I don't know who their broadcast team is, but he lives and breathes, that fucking bell, and he sees it. He probably had to drop. You've got to be shitting me. Like really, like
I ain't gonna lie. If I was doing that, and
you
I was
wouldn't get fired. If I was in charge of your radio station, you would not get fired for dropping. You got to be shitting me on that deal.
No, because you probably are saying what everybody
you're saying
in
the same
Philadelphia
thing,
was saying, right? Like, no, I have no doubt. If I always think about that. Like, it's easy to call a game where your team wins because you get excited. Even at broadcasters, they get excited. And it's exciting to be in the building.
Oh yeah, like you never hear the Falcons call on the Super Bowl when Brady when the Brady let him back.
It's probably not memorable because you don't practice. One, you don't practice those, right? I mean, you're an announcer. You would never practice losing on what you would call.
Right.
2, to lose in such an unbelievable fashion, and everything That's the calls I want to hear, because I have no doubt that if I was calling that game and I was a huge Philadelphia fan as a broadcaster and was the home guy or whatever, I don't even know if I'd say anything. I would just sit there. It would just be dead air because, or expletives are coming out. Can you effing believe that? What did we just see? Type of a deal. So, but my other issue with the NBA is ratings are, a big thing, right? To get whatever.
All right.
Canadian ratings don't count. So every home game in Toronto isn't going to count for NBA ratings. So when you see the rating numbers, it will not include Canadian television sets.
Well,
so half of the Eastern Conference Finals TV sets are not going to count for ratings on the NBA.
Well, isn't that how it would work? Regardless, if it wasn't a Toronto game, if it was,
but
obviously people in Toronto are going to be watching.
There's going to be more people watching in Toronto now than there would have been if they would have lost to Philadelphia. That's my point.
I want to see what the Canadian. Does Canada have their own TV
I don't know. I tried researching it to figure it out. I haven't got a clarification on it or not.
Because they run everything off that TSN network.
Yeah, it's all
right?
some weird.
They have whatever weird Canadian sports.
But it's because.
But it's so they'll have the TNT or ESPN broadcast, whoever's broadcasting this series, and it will be on that TSN network.
NBA's just lucky that no Canadian hockey team is still in the playoffs. Because then there would be nobody watching this Eastern Conference Finals.
The Raptors are on TSN 1. The Ocho.
But I mean, it's just how many things can the NBA do to just ruin a good thing? That's all I'm getting at here. It just makes zero business sense to me. And there's a lot of smarter people. I mean, I guess being in the market is worth it. But, I mean, this is going to hurt. It's going to hurt bad.
You don't want to have a team in Canada? Is that what you're saying?
No, just, there's got to be a way to fix all this stuff, right?
I mean, I don't know. Regardless, I think, people are going to watch. I'm kind of pulling for Team Canada right now.
I don't have any doubt that
I'm going to bandwagon with the Raptors for a little bit.
That the NBA wouldn't want the Philadelphia in because they get that New York market with Philly right there.
Oh, Philly have been huge just because, what the 76ers
are. So that goes to show you that the NBA doesn't rig NBA games anymore. Let's caveat that. Because they would have made, they would have done everything. They would have called a late foul, offensive foul, after that went in if they were rigging it.
They'd be like, on the line.
Right? He stepped out of bounds.
There's rules here.
But I don't know. I just sit back as a casual NBA guy and not the hugest NBA guy on the planet, but I watch. Now's the time where I'm going to start. You're going to go Team Canada over Milwaukee, dude.
They're both kind of the same area, right?
Well, I know. As far as I know, they're across the border from each other.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's not the case, but
the Border Wars series. No, but, I wore.
Toronto's across from Buffalo, by the way.
I wasn't
not Wisconsin.
Yeah, that's why they did those Bills games there. But I did. I had an Under Armour Canada shirt that I just wore to sleep last night and went to the gym. And so he asked me, "Oh, you're from Canada, eh?" I don't know if he was from Canada. I was like, "Oh no, just big Raptors fan." And then I just left it at that. I was like, "Oh, I guess that's my team for the deal. I
I
don't know.
never understood the whole Jurassic Park thing. Like they have a park outside the stadium called Jurassic Park.
In Canada.
Yeah, I mean they're the Raptors for a reason, Jason.
Oh yeah, the Raptor. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
So I've never looked into it because I one, I haven't cared, but then two, but yeah, why all the dinosaur stuff out of Toronto? Like, I mean,
I don't know. Maybe that's where they were at,
a
man.
lot of no, because I mean
Before
they're all.
extinct.
I spent last summer driving through Utah and southern Dakotas and everything, where there's
Southern
nothing but
Dakotas.
dinosaur bones that they found laying everywhere and everything. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll learn that in the NBA Finals here. You know, on what's going on with that. So, but no, I think Milwaukee's the team to root for here, man. They've been ever since they lost Lou Alcindor back in the day.
I do like the Bucks too. It's a tough one. Oh, 7 games. Give me another buzzer beater. Go to 4 overtimes.
I can tell you this: for the NBA Finals against the Warriors, you want the Bucks over the Raptors because the Raptors are going to get swept and lose by 800 each game. They do not match up well at all.
But part of me wants like Kawhi to stay in Toronto. Like I feel like if they win, that he might stay. Like I'm not saying it's going to be positive because I still feel like he's an NBA player. But like, no, fuck you, I'm going to LA or whatever, you know, wherever the hell he wants to go.
Yeah, he wants to go to the Clippers.
But I don't know. I just kind of feel like maybe if he like wins for the city, he'll be like, I'm staying. But if he like does leave, he'll be like, F this guy, you know? Like, I don't know. So
I feel like
I'm kind of torn on that where it's like,
I feel it's a success either way because they made the Eastern Conference Finals. Because Toronto was
yeah,
the team.
but if he, yeah, I mean,
Because Toronto fired their coach last year, who got them to the playoffs every year because they couldn't.
yeah, I
take
mean,
that
and they
extra
got
step.
rid of, you know, their franchise
Yeah.
player. So,
Or
I mean,
Kawhi,
obviously, you know, Kawhi, you know, involved in that trade, making it happen, which is awesome for them. But I just feel like, God, it would suck so much if they win the title, then Kawhi's like, peace, I'm out, and they just go back to the cellar.
So you're rooting for that.
Well, I'm rooting for Kawhi to stay because I feel like he would stay if they win. But I don't know. Like, that's not 100% positive. I just feel like, man, yeah, he might stay if they win, right?
I feel like
he's not
it'd
gonna be a jerk off.
I feel it would be horrible for him to leave now that they made the Eastern Conference, especially if it goes 6-7.
Oh, I feel like anything would be like bad leaving. Yeah, especially if they lose and it's like one of those sad things. Because, you know, the first question is going to be like, so what's this do for your pending free agency?
especially if he leaves for the Clippers, right? Like,
Right.
I mean, they made the playoffs this year, but
Did the Clippers make it?
yeah.
No. I don't know.
They were. Yeah, remember that they were the team that we were both like, "Oh wow, they made the playoffs."
I often forget about NBA playoffs so far this year.
Well,
So,
because you just like it's one of those things where you watch but you don't watch. Plus, I've had hockey on a lot more lately than anything else.
the only thing I watched was that Nuggets Portland overtime game because it was on at the bar I was at. So
that was a good series there. A couple long overtimes and everything.
poor Denver. I got some Denver fans who were
Denver.
they were sad.
It's like, when did Denver get good again? That was my question. Like, holy crap, you know. So enough of me bashing the NBA.
Did you look?
No, I did not.
Yeah.
First of all, let's switch that. I was going to go to hockey, but since you're doing that right now, and it's annoying.
I'm trying to play the circle game with Steve,
Whatever, you racist.
which,
So
if you haven't heard,
the Cubs, you know, let a wife beater who almost killed his wife, beating her to death, back onto the field. And on the same day, they do this big racial thing, right? Then, here's my other problem with it. I can never say his name, but Zobrist.
Ben Zobrist, he's on leave. He's getting divorced or
Yeah.
something, apparently.
Yeah.
Did you know
How
that?
much? Well, I do after today because they announced why he's gone finally.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that something bad has happened in this divorce, and the Cubs had to put him on leave
Right.
because who leaves your team when you're going through a divorce? Just like, hey, I need a break, guys. I'm going through a divorce. Like, go. Something happened here, right? And the Cubs are trying to hide it because they've let a wife beater back at second base, Russell. They brought him back and put him on there. They were able to successfully distract from that call up and move. I mean, even though he got booed mercifully in the home game, his first home game there.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's been afterwards, but I mean, where there's smoke, there's fire with the Cubs, and they are doing everything in their power to keep all this stuff under wraps.
They have terrible PR people. Like they just don't get it, like the perception and like public lighting and stuff like that. That's just, I saw this Zobrist deal today. I was like, that's kind of weird, like like you said, like who takes a leave of absence, for a few weeks. I guess he's been on since May 8th. So what are we at right now? The
15th.
15th. So, a week now.
But they don't know when he's coming back.
Yeah, Joe Madden said he texted with him the other day, let him know how much he cared about him, how much the team misses him. But yeah, so something happened there. Like, which you're gonna find out probably that he, would cheated on her on the road, and that's just gonna make the Cubs look bad because they now have cheaters and wife beaters.
You don't take a leave of absence because you're sleeping around on your wife on the road, Jason.
Ron Washington resigned from the Rangers for it.
He had a lot of whole other issues, though.
Yeah, well, those issues were all in the past.
That you know of?
Well,
maybe that was just the excuse.
At least with those issues, he came out and said, hey, yeah, guys, I did cocaine like in February. Y'all cool with that? And we're like, yeah, we're cool with that. Wash, you can still be the manager. And then like a year and a half later, it's like, hey, guys, I got to go. I just cheated on my wife for the first time in 30 years since I've been on the road, so I feel bad. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Like, whatever. Go work on you, man.
Or that was the excuse because he got caught on a bender again in a hotel room with lines laying everywhere.
I think he would have just came out with something because he already had.
The skeptic in me, the skeptic in me just, there are reporters all over the place that are digging into this story right now, trying to find out what happens. And it's going to come out. Type of a deal, and maybe it is. He's getting divorced.
Well, yeah, his wife's a singer, so it's got to come out, right? Like TMZ should have something on this.
Yeah,
at some point.
I mean, things get filed. You can find it. It just takes time to find it or whatever. But I'm just saying, who takes a leave of absence because of a divorce? Doesn't happen very often, if at all.
And maybe if you got to like, hey, I got to go file this, you take like a day or two, you should do that on your off day, right?
He's 37 years old. He's got, he won a championship in Kansas City in 2015. He won one for the Cubs. He's not filling out the paperwork, Jason, and walking down the courthouse and spending the $35 to file divorce papers. What the hell?
So you think they're doing it online, or what do you think they got going on here?
He's got attorneys to handle that. I guarantee you that. He's not at home. He's not at home going through assets and like citing it or whatever. Oh my god.
I mean, he's probably just a young, not old, but or not young, but he's probably old school. Like don't let my attorneys handle that. I got this. I don't know. just saying. So
basically, what I'm saying is I'm calling the Cubs out for being a bunch of pansies, and their moral compass is just messed up because Old Man Ricketts' emails were extremely racist, and they were just like, oh, he's an old guy, whatever.
But they said he's not part of the team,
apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Oh, yeah, totally. Raised Old South. I get that. And then so this fan, we didn't really talk about him on the Zobrist thing.
Well,
I know you think it's a farce.
I said my opinion on it. The Cubs used that to distract from the fact that they are kowtowing to a guy that literally beat the shit out of his wife and she almost died. And he's now playing second base.
Did she almost die? Was that the thing?
His second day back. I mean, his first day back is the day that all this uproar.
Oh, yeah.
So we have a problem with the guy. Let's say it is a racist gesture. Let's just say it's a racist gesture, which it's a stupid, silly game. Fine. Let's say it's a racist gesture. Does it take all of this stuff, all of this media, for Theo Epstein to sit there and say, literally make it a big deal?
It gave him shivers.
3 people saw it. 3 people commented on social media like, hey, what's with this racist thing behind Doug Glanville? Nobody else would have freaking said anything but Theo Epstein.
But nobody said that. So what it was...
Theo Epstein and the president give it all this deal because they're like, oh my God. Because they don't want to... Because Theo came out and threatened every reporter and said, you do not talk about Addison Russell and anything like that, or you guys are banned from the thing forever.
Oh, yeah.
And
Which did not look good.
And they walk into that meeting, and Theo Epstein, right out the bat, nobody prompts him or anything. What we had today at Wrigley Field just gave me shivers. I'm calling bullshit.
He was accosted.
I'm calling bullshit.
So, all right, if, some people are going as far as saying this guy was a plant. And they're like, what's something we can get? Because 4 people in the world think that the OK symbol, where you make your index finger and your thumb, make a circle,
And as I'm doing it now on accident.
means white power because you see a W with your pinky, your ring, and your middle finger,
And
then a P. So like 4 people think that because it came out last year, like this is what this means by some internet meme, and they even said, "Hey,
Yeah, it was 4chan. Yeah.
4chan said it was a joke." They even came out and said it was a joke. They did like the American dysfunction, whatever, and they're like, "Yeah, like could it mean that in some circles? Yes, but not everybody thinks it means that."
But some white supremacists, like the guy that shot up all the church in New Zealand, was in court and he did it. So everybody's like, "See, that's their proof that's racist."
But on the other hand, when you throw it down, we all played the circle. I mean, did you play the circle
I
game in high
never played the
school?
circle.
But you saw people play it, right?
I know it is.
On sports teams, we played it. We don't. And then what the circle game is, if you throw it down below your waist and somebody looks,
stupid.
you punch somebody in the. Yeah, it's stupid. It's dumb. It's what guys do, right? Like
boys.
like boys. I mean, we still do it at the racetrack. Like a few weeks ago, I was doing it with somebody.
I know.
I did it with Dean. He had no idea what it was.
I know. I saw Dean's comment.
And then he was like, "What?" Yeah. So like I did it with somebody, who's in his 50s, and he had no idea what I did. Like just a few weeks ago, probably about a month and a half ago or so, like that.
Yeah.
I did. He was like, "What's that?" I was like, "I get to punch you now." He was like, "What?" So I had to explain the circle game, and then this stuff comes out. But every other, so I've watched like a few Cubs games, and usually you always see the fan's face in the background. This guy, you do not see a face.
They have the Cubs, I've seen a couple pictures of his face, but the Cubs carefully edit out the guy's face. They have supposedly banned him for life, but nobody's ever said his name.
Exactly.
Even like internet places are.
In 2003, we all knew who the hell Steve Bartman was and what his address was.
The guy's never been interviewed by anybody anywhere. That's my point here.
And people want his story. People are like, people want to know what's your side.
Yeah, come out and say it. The Cubs have basically said, it's the president, he didn't come out. I mean, he said it's his job to prove to us that he wasn't being a racist and everything. And wouldn't you come out and say, like, I'm not a racist? Like, right? Like, you would come out and say
there's things with that, though, too. Like, if, say it was me and the camera's on and I do something funny, like, like whatever, got you with a circle game. People are like, man, this guy owns us a punch in the arm. And then you already get that stigma of you're a racist.
People are going to think that
there are
anyway.
people that think that, like online, people are actually like, well, it's not the circle game. It is racist. It's, we've all seen it. It's like, oh my God, really? Like, people still think Bartman cost the Cubs that freaking thing too. That he actually didn't, but they Moises Alou wasn't going to catch that ball. Cubs fans.
It doesn't matter. But that's my point. People are going to think what they're going to think. But if I was facing a lifetime ban and I did something silly, if I was facing all this stuff, where Theo Epstein's sewing shills or whatever,
right?
I would actually like come out and be like, look, guys, like it was a silly little joke. I'd let people think what they want, but I'd come out and be like, you guys are just stupid, this is ridiculous. This is all it was, blah, blah, blah. My favorite is like even Doug Glanville like comes out with like a
statement, like how he was like,
there are 1,000 pictures. My favorite thing about the internet is all the comments on every posting regarding this is literally baseball player after baseball player after baseball player playing that game. Mike Trout, that was my favorite. Was
like MLB literally did a story on it last year on Cut 4 when Mike Trout did it to a minority player.
Yeah,
he wasn't an American player; he was a minority player. He did that after he hit a home run. The circle game. Like we do it, and then like for the president. Like, here's what I thought was funny. I listened to an interview last week, and the president was like, hey, I didn't really think anything of it, but one of my PR people, who's probably really extreme left, I'm assuming, because only the extreme left think this is a racist gesture, she was like, or she, I'm assuming she, because I just kind of get like a bitchy feel, was like, hey, that's racist. And he was like, what? So they probably didn't do Google research. And she was like, oh yeah, it came out last year with this and all these white nationalists. He's like, oh my God, let's get them out of here. Which is obviously to distract you from the Addison Russell thing. Like, I think they went all in on it because they wanted to distract you. Like, was this guy planned or not? I don't know. Maybe not. I don't think he was. I feel like he was probably just doing his thing.
Oh, you mean the guy doing this?
Because the guy even threw up like the peace sign too.
Yeah, right
beforehand. I mean, what kind of white nationalist is saying peace?
No, and Cubs can ban whoever they want, but that's
How do you enforce that though?
well, that's the thing. Like you just okay. I know something about this, not because I've been banned.
Like
but
he's
I
not
know
going to
somebody.
be able to buy tickets on like Cubs websites, right?
Yeah, but you can get second thing.
He can go grab it from a scalper
And
outside, right?
You just don't get in trouble going in because they can't do facial recognition or anything
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, you just don't. I mean, Bartman, even though he wasn't banned, was going to Cubs games after that incident. He went to Cubs games the next year, and nobody recognized him or anything. It's just you have to be careful
Really?
on
You
that.
think he went to Cubs?
He admits that he did,
Yeah.
yeah, and everything. So, but they're not going to enforce it, Jason, because they didn't ban the guy. It's all a conspiracy theory to, it's just too coincidental that Addison Russell gets called up and everybody is I was okay with him being called up. And then I actually looked into it. I'm like, oh my God, no, this is not the time to call this guy. Like they're doing Addison Russell a disservice by calling him up on that day, just because of time. It's a timing issue and there's
Right.
some court stuff being worked out and stuff. Like, no, you keep him in the minors so that gets worked out. Then
Right.
you can bring him up. So it's just coincidental that
Which I had no idea about all that stuff. I
the
just thought-
Chicago media is in an
over.
uproar that he's on there. Half the fan base is in uproar that he's going in there at second base. I mean, he got booed worse than
He got booed worse than Braun does
Yeah,
going in
I
there.
mean-
And they boo the crap out of Braun. Like, still, they
Yeah.
boo Braun
Yeah.
whenever he comes up to bat.
and it's like it's all it was we need something to distract from this guy. So I'm not going to go as far as say the guy was a plant. I'm just going to go as far to say that the Cubs, basically were like, we need a distraction. This fan has never come out and talked, so maybe it was just, hey, we're not going to publish your picture.
And in 2019, you would find that guy, right? With all the social media that's out there, you would find this guy.
Dude, there are people that saw, because I did see a couple pictures of his face. There are people that would be like, oh, that's Jim Smiley. He lives down at
Right.
whatever side or whatever. It's my neighbor. I mean, that happens.
Like you would if you're like the friend of the guy who gets banned. Like if I knew somebody that got banned from somewhere and it was a national story and I was on his Facebook, I'd be like, oh, dude, it's this guy. Like I would give that stuff out. Like, hey, it's this guy.
So that's why I'm just like, it's a farce. It's a complete farce by the Cubs to distract from the fact that they are trying to cover up the fact that they have no more high ground. If you can throw a baseball, if you can hit a baseball, you're more than welcome to walk into the stadium at any time. But you play, like I said, even if that was a racist thing,
Which it's not.
but even if it was, okay, ban the guy for life, but why make such an outrageous big deal about it? Just quietly do it, have security get the guy. They had to find him days later on top of it. Like, it's not like they walked down and like kicked him out right then. Like, after the game, they're like, we got to find this guy,
And like, I mean, MSNBC blurred out the image. Like that's how ridiculous this is.
And
like,
it made
they
it
blurred it out.
And again, we all know who MSNBC is, but my favorite part of that is they made it look worse. It actually looked like a penis.
Because it was like right there by his crotch.
It was like pretty funny. I was like, oh wow, you guys made it worse. So I'm just, so between NBA and the Cubs, I'm just like, what? And then I saw a couple people be like, why isn't Major League Baseball addressing this or whatever? And it's like, because it's nothing.
Because they don't care. Like, yeah, and that's what I find more funny than anything is, mostly everybody that is a sane individual is joking about how it was the circle game. Like, oh yeah, but then there are some people like, oh, well, no, you see this white nationalist do it? That means he was a white supremacist. Like he did this because he's a white supremacist. Like nobody else does that except for them. It's like, really, like we're living in an age right now where the most minute stuff that we did as a child or even, something we did yesterday could be associated with racism today for nothing. Like this is just the regular, whether it's the circle game or not, it is the OK symbol, which is emoji. John Cena did OK. Like John Cena told you exactly what it was in the movie Blockers, right?
They have every NBA player after a three-pointer, James Harden, Steph Curry, everybody doing
LeBron
it.
James throwing up the double threes.
They had the president,
You look
Barack
up with the goggle eyes,
Yeah.
Barack,
Obama
Clinton.
doing it. I mean, it's hilarious how people are
everybody's just finding
throwing it
pictures.
out there,
Hillary did it.
But that just tells you
Maybe
it's
that's
even-
why Dirk does the he does
Yeah,
it
he does
like
a
that.
weird one.
He does the
that's a German thing.
He does the pinky and ring finger in to throw the
Germans are more sensitive to human rights and
his
stuff.
is almost like a gun though. So he does that and then he goes like gun, boom. So that's going to piss off the NRA.
But I mean,
There were the people
who
who
was
hate
the
NRA.
player that did the slant eyes gesture with Hugh Darvish on the mound when he was? I think it was with the Dodgers. You know,
I don't
I mean,
remember.
MLB came down on that so fast, like suspended 4 games, you know, and all that stuff, and just silence across the board, except for Theo Epstein and the president of the Cubs. Other than that, everybody is silent, and everybody's just like, whatever, time to move on. Even like reporters aren't even talking about it, you know.
The only ones that wrote stuff about it were the ones who like believe that the Cubs did something right. You know, their opinion pieces like the Cubs got it right with this racism. Like they're just creating false racism in the world.
Here's my other
that we live in.
problem.
And I hate like the false racism. Like the Cubs posted something the other day. Like, do you want these 4 seats? I go, oh, were these the seats that fan had that you banned for false racism? I got a lot of likes on that too, by the way.
My other problem, that is a good one. My other problem with the Cubs is when I've never been to Wrigley Field, but I've seen a lot of games there. I watch a lot of games about them. I watch every Sunday night Cubs game it's on, and I see more inappropriate gestures with middle fingers. I hear more
Right.
swearing than anywhere else I've ever been to.
The middle finger was meant to be offensive. It's meant to be fuck you.
It's pretty offensive.
Like
right?
it's offensive, and you see it
they're-
all the time in the 7th inning stretch.
and
you know,
they're
the
walking
drunk guys in
around,
the Budweiser stands.
not a care in the world, you know. And it's just like, you know, where's the moral high? Like, you can't take a moral high ground when you're allowing, you know, all these fans and all these people to do all this stuff, and you literally are okay with it, and you actually endorse it in a lot of factors, you know.
Right.
So, I don't know. I just all of a sudden woke up to like, man, what's up with the Cubs?
Did you see the rain on Sunday night made them all wear their white ponchos
Yes.
that looked pretty
Yes.
much like Klan ribbons?
hooded things, and it was funny watching ESPN like scroll through the crowd too, you know, and like
Well, it literally looked like Klan night at the stadium. Like it was not good.
no, Theo didn't send shivers through Theo Epstein's body. Then he didn't seem to care about that look, you know?
Right.
So that's what tells you it's a joke right there.
You got to make those blue or something.
right? Like,
They'll be blue.
guys. Let's get the crease out of the top there, please.
Yeah.
But no, that's just it just goes. They're just covering up for the fact that they need a second baseman that can hit, and they're gonna they have no problem paying the guy millions of dollars to play second base, who is a convicted wife beater, by the way. I mean, this is the organization that traded for Chapman in order to win the World Series. And what did he do wrong before he got there?
Yeah, but he won a World Series. Like with me, so if I was a Cubs fan, I mean, I'm not going to go cheer Addison Russell openly. I'm not going to buy an Addison Russell jersey or anything like that. But, I mean, the thing with Chapman, like, yeah, he did it, but he didn't do it in Chicago. He did it, like, prior to going to Chicago. And a lot of people were against, him being there because of everything. But, he did win the World Series. I feel like with Russell, the way Cubs fans, like, boo him, it feels like more of a letdown to them because that was like one of their guys who like let him down,
I'm not arguing that. I'm actually okay with second chances and everything.
Right.
If the timing's right, like you gotta let the court cases end. You have
I had no idea the court case was
you
like
have
still
to,
going and open and all
well,
that
it's
stuff.
like additional stuff. To other
Right.
Stuff.
Yeah,
but-
you got to have it like fully in the
You gotta
back.
let
Like,
that
keep him in Iowa or something like
yeah,
that.
I
playing-
mean, you gotta, his punishment is play minor league baseball for a while. There's gonna be an upward
yeah,
bring it back.
ride the bus a little
I'm
bit.
all for second chances for people that make mistakes. I'm all for he's got a talent. Somebody's going to pay him. You might as well pay him. Believe it or not, that's my stance on that. There's ways to handle it, but don't you dare stand there and tell me about how you're standing up for racism when you're the patriarch of the owning family is the biggest racist in that stadium. And then you dismiss it by going, oh, yeah, it's nothing to do with it. Whatever.
Yeah.
You're his fucking kid. Don't tell me
you ain't never
that you ain't saying stuff and doing stuff.
dropped an
behind the
N-word in
thing.
your life.
Don't do
Yeah.
that, first of all. And second of all, don't you dare, with all the other stuff going on, sit there and lecture the world about this racist gesture behind Doug Glanville on the thing when we can literally show a track record. It would be like the Patriots, right? Like, the Patriots aren't going to stand for that stuff. But the one fan that's in the stadium this year and is getting jerked off by a massage therapist in the stands or whatever, like, I feel like the Patriots couldn't kick that guy out this year.
Oh,
It would
yeah.
be a huge double standard. It's the same concept.
Man, Craft's making sure we don't see
Yeah,
that
you
video
like you like how I just threw that out? I just changed it there to that.
Well, I was going to say switching gears now because I actually have a little bit of NASCAR story.
Oh,
Some people were up in arms about. Have you seen the millennial paint scheme that Kevin Hart?
last weekend.
No,
He
this
drove it
weekend. Last week they did the unveiling. This weekend for the All-Star race. They always do like. I mean, a lot of teams they used to do like special paint schemes.
I have no
this
idea what half those words mean, but I think it's hilarious.
I just looked up. So they call it a millennial car, and most of it's not even like towards millennials. It's more towards like 21 and under. Like I don't know. I think people don't have the millennial time frame right because I had to look at those words too, and I'm like right in the middle of full-fledged millennial. Like most millennials now are like 39 to 25. But I was like, what the heck is yeet?
That seems.
And I looked up yeet. Like, I'm pretty sure your kids know what yeet is. It's like when you get really excited about something or another, apparently.
I've never heard him say it. And if I heard my kid say that, I'd be like, no.
No, like Ethan made a.
I'd be like,
He made a.
I'd be like, say the F word.
He made a PlayStation profile that was yeet.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, so that's how I knew about it. I knew like Ethan made that profile. So that's why I was like, what is yeet anyway? It's like, I didn't know that was a millennial thing.
You're telling on an 11-year-old that's going to get talked to now. Good
Well,
job.
no, it's not a bad word. It's just, it means you got really excited about something.
No.
It's like yeet.
I don't want you using those words. That's ridiculous. That sounds ridiculous.
Skirt is on the side skirt without an I. It's like SKRRT.
Skirt.
They used millennial pink. I guess that's a color for the car. So the car is a millennial pink.
I don't think it's skirt. I think it's skirt.
Skirt. Yeah. It's drawn out. Skirt. Stuff like that. But what's the generation before millennials? What's your generation?
Generation X.
So Generation X peeps, and maybe some what was before X?
Baby boomers.
Was that the baby boomers? Yeah, so some baby boomers and some Generation X peeps are up in arms now because Bush actually has on the hood, it says Bush AF, which you know what AF means, right?
Yes.
As fuck.
Yes.
So it's Bush as fuck, which
I am that hip. Yes.
a lot of people say. I mean, I was watching one of those videos, those kids out there in Tempe do over for the Sun Devils. They're like, hey, you're hot AF. That's like what people say, like, oh, you're hot as fuck. They just say you're hot AF now.
Yeah, I mean, it's like F. Instead of saying the word, you go effing or whatever. It's just a shortcut.
Hot AF. So they're mad about AF being on the car. Do you have issues with that?
No, because most people don't know what that. If you don't know, because you either don't know what it means or you do know what it means and you use it. And
you
or
say it,
right?
yeah.
But I mean, there's no. If your kid, I'm assuming the argument is my kids will see it and then ask me. Well, then lie to them,
Yeah, alcohol free.
Yeah, just be like it's a abbreviation for words we don't say, kids. Like type.
Just say alcohol free. Bush alcohol free. They have non-alcoholic.
Is that what it means though? It means the actual term. It doesn't mean something else.
No, I think they're non-alcoholics, just non-alcoholic Bush.
Yeah,
I think they ran a paint scheme for.
No, I mean, but they have Bush AF as in.
Like Bush as fuck. Yeah.
That's what I mean. That's what it says.
I would imagine. But when it was funny in the video when Harvick, looked at it, he goes, AF. How'd they get that through legal? Like, because NASCAR has to approve all these paint schemes. And NASCAR obviously said, it's funny. We like it. Whatever. Like,
but I mean,
they got come down on something that's meant to be funny.
It's
like
something that's vague and has multiple meanings. I mean, we're sitting here saying multiple meanings. It could be alcohol free for this instance,
right?
Actually,
yeah.
So there's a bunch of meanings behind it and things like that. But people are upset about it. I saw people upset about it just because they're like, it's an ugly paint scheme and, I don't want to see these words everywhere. It's stupid and stuff like that. I saw that type of stuff. But, I mean, even Harvick was like, I had to look up what Yeezy means or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. I like the side there. It says Bush is Bay. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, see, I hate that. I hate that Bay stuff, man. That's just stupid. And you do it
Chipotle is Bay.
It's so stupid. And you use it all the time. I'm just like cringe when it's just like, why?
I'm gonna sprint car racing as Bay when we go out this weekend.
Pull the mic.
Sprint car is Bay.
Yeah, I don't get it. No, I mean I like how they change it up, and wasn't that
they added the frog and the T?
Wasn't that a bet or something?
Yeah. So last year, Bush, the meaning behind the paint scheme, Bush said last year in a tweet going into the Championship 4 that they would win the title. If they wouldn't, they'd let somebody design their car and whatever. So they had a couple of cars picked out. Everybody picked the millennial car, and they actually let people decide on what they should put on the car with like polls and stuff like that. So
yeah, and you know what? I mean, there's limits to it. Don't get me wrong, but I'm all for NASCAR doing this and that.
I
team
love how
doing
sponsors
it.
don't take themselves seriously. Like I like Busch and NASCAR. I especially like how like they've incorporated like social media so much. Like Busch is all about like their social media game. It's pretty good social
really
media
good,
channel if you
too,
follow it. Like
actually,
I don't follow it, but I see a lot of stuff that gets like posted and stuff by them. And even their commercials and stuff with like the Busch.
But even their car just normal looks really sweet when you see it in person. Like I've always liked it. I've always been like, man, like I almost bought a Busch hat that one time because I was like, that car looks pretty sweet. And that logo looks awesome on that hat. And then I realized I don't wear stuff like that. So
you know, rocking a.
But I mean, it's not a bad thing for NASCAR to engage fans in this way to actually look like you're having a personality.
I mean, if you're trying to get the young fans, this is right up your alley, right? Like.
I mean, young fans aren't going to be like, "Oh my God, did you see he's got Yeet on that car?"
I mean, who knows? They might be like, "Yeet! Oh, what's that?" But they already know. And then
I'm saying more. I'm saying more.
Bush's Bay.
I'm saying more of it's just showing that, you know, NASCAR is getting a personality, and they're, you know, if they don't take life so serious, because that's been a complaint of NASCAR. It's been my complaint. Like, you know, we go to those events and everything, and it's like, man, just people are angry all the time.
Yeah, they're not happy in NASCAR,
you know, and everything. So like, God, it's not the end of the world to actually have a little fun, guys.
Right.
Know? So
apparently he wanted to wear a pink, or he said he would wear a pink fire suit. He didn't want to, but he was like, yeah, I'll do it. But Simpson didn't have the millennial pink in their repertoire of fabric. But the crew guys, I guess, all have pink shirts that say Busch AF on them.
I would be a little worried if Simpson was like, oh, hey, wait a minute. we
actually have millennial pink.
Well, I mean, that one driver had Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
Pink and
everything. He wore the wig and everything. Tyler Reddick.
Yeah. You know, there's nothing wrong. I mean, like I said, there's limits. You know, like you know, don't have swear words or stuff like that on there. But I don't think there's anything wrong with going a little weird every once in a while on cars and everything to show a little personality. I think it's great, actually. So. On there, I didn't realize the All-Star race was this weekend.
Yeah, not a lot of people do. it means nothing.
I know, but like, I mean, with Kansas being a Saturday night last night,
but they are going to incorporate the they were pretty much using this race as like a glorified test session, like they did last year, with the current package, and I guess they're going to. Some stuff for the next package that's coming out.
I think that's the best part of it is it gives them an opportunity to test it in a racing environment,
right?
And it doesn't count, and then two, I think your all-star winner should be a guy that has to overcome things that, you know, I'm not saying throw nails on the track to give him a challenge, you know, but, you know, there should be additional things in here. It's my same argument with NASCAR at the end of the season, you know. You should be able to win the road courses, the short tracks, the high tracks, and stuff like that. You should be an all-around driver.
And that's what's cool about the Chase last year. They actually had the Roval in there, so.
Yeah, so, I mean, you know, so that's why the All-Star, you know, whoever wins the All-Star race needs to be the guy that's durable and can overcome all these additional, you know, things that are thrown at them, quote unquote, that they're not used to and everything. And I think that's great for it. Nothing wrong, like I said, nothing wrong with showing a little bit of that stuff. And so it's not just a standard complaining about the draft, the size of the, you know, fins in the back, whatever those are called. I'm forgetting my names right now.
Have you ever had something backfire on you extremely bad? Like we're like, oh man, I'm going to do this. And then you're like, ooh, that backfired.
Yeah, all the time. That's part of the fun of it.
Watching like what?
One of my sayings is, let's see how bad this backfires right before I go do something.
So instead of, hey guys, watch this, you're
I'm like, let's see how bad this goes.
Instead of, hey y'all, watch this. Hey, let's see how this can backfire.
Yeah, that's one of my sayings and everything, you know. So I don't know. I can't really throw it on me like that. I can't think of it, but you're obviously going to tell me a story.
Yeah. I got a story. Have you heard of Eli Hides?
No.
So Eli Hides is a Detroit Tigers fan who caught Albert Pujols' 2000th RBI baseball. It was a home run.
He's the guy that won't give it back to him. Mm-hmm. The money doesn't matter.
So Albert Pujols, I guess immediately afterwards, people, he hit the home run. This guy caught it. Immediately afterwards, they were like, "Hey, man, we want this ball."
But he was in Detroit.
He was in Detroit.
Detroit people.
So Detroit were like, "Hey, we'll give you this, we'll give you that." Pujols, we'll give an Albert Pujols signed bat. Maybe Mike Trout something. I don't know, but he was pretty much like, no. And I guess but he said like the Tiger people were being like a-holes to him and everything. So according to like his friends, the first offer was a Pujols autographed baseball. The second offer was an autographed ball and a meet and greet with Pujols, and the third was a Pujols autographed ball, meet and greet, and a jersey. And the fourth was all that plus some Miguel Cabrera memorabilia.
Oh, there you go.
But he said that the people in Detroit were kind of a-holes to him. So he's like, you know what? No, I'm not going to give you this ball because you just automatically think that you're entitled to it because this was a milestone for him. He's like, I'm going to take this ball and I'm going to go sell it on eBay or give it to my child and have him sell it on eBay, you know, build up his college fund. The only problem with that is he didn't get it authenticated by MLB. You know, they usually put the stickers on it.
Yeah.
So that's, I think it's a backfire on him.
So he can't sell it? I think you could.
I mean, he could probably sell it, but you're not going to get
it.
what you want because it's not authenticated. Like,
But
at this point, I mean, at that point, you're just buying a ball, right? Like,
you could have switched that ball or whatever.
like if you're on eBay and you see like Albert Pujols 2000, RBI ball, you're not gonna be like,
I don't know. I mean, if the Detroit people were being jerks, that's one thing. But I don't understand. You know, to be honest with you, all that stuff he was being offered is probably worth more than that baseball would have been.
right? I mean, I don't know.
I mean, Pujols is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
They were offering stuff besides, I think you said Mike Trout. I did read that they were offering stuff for other players. Too,
Oh, yeah.
like throughout the league, like superstars in the league and everything. I mean, that stuff's going to be worth way more than that.
They're like, bro, we still got some Verlander stuff here. We'll hook you up with.
2000 idea. I mean, yeah.
I mean, it was a big milestone for Albert.
him, but
I mean, if I was the one to catch that, I mean, I've always like dreamed of the day where I caught something, like a 500th home run, a first home run, or whatever. Speaking of first home runs, Vlad Guerrero Jr. got 1 and 2 yesterday.
Yeah, finally. He's been struggling there at the plate.
But if I caught something like that, I would. I mean, I know obviously you're gonna give me some stuff for this. I'll play some hardball to start off with.
Would you?
Knowing though that I'll get.
I can honestly say I probably wouldn't. I would just be like,
like, hey man, here you go.
They usually offer you stuff right off the bat. Matt Williams hit that home run in Game 6 of the World Series against the Yankees here, and the ball landed like 5 seats over from us. But I was like, I'm not getting involved in this scrum because it was just everybody whoosh, and so I'm just watching it or whatever. I mean, they came down, they literally like gave the guy like a plastic thing or whatever, and they came down and they were like, here's the deal, we want this ball. And I mean, they were just rattling off stuff, I mean, they have a game plan going in, right? And everything, and the guy was like, yeah, no problem, cool. So they like did exchanges, whatever, and the guy disappeared and he comes back and he's like, yeah, I got, I gotta remember now, but I'm sure he got bats and autographed signed stuff or whatever, and everything. And, I mean, they have plans for that stuff, it's not like they just go down there and they're like, can you hand us that?
Right.
Type of a deal. I mean, that ball would have been worth a lot more than, back then. It would have been worth a lot more than what.
When Rafael Palmeiro, I was at the game where he hit his 500th home run back in 2003.
That's a huge milestone.
I was at the game. Me and my buddies, we went the Friday night. We went hoping he'd do it Friday. And we were sitting in right field. Because, that's where majority of his balls are hit. So we're like, we got these right field seats. Like, heck yeah, man. He didn't do it there. And then Saturday, we didn't go to the game. I think we had a baseball game itself.
And then he hits it?
And then Sunday. No, he did it on Sunday. Yeah. So Sunday, like, so let's hit it. Let's go. And it was actually Mother's Day. We'll tie in there with Mother's Day being this past weekend. But no, it was Mother's Day. And we took the day off from our moms and went and saw Rafi hit number 500. But we were sitting on the first base line. So I think the guy who caught it, they, he gave the ball back. They actually gave him the seat. He was part of the, the seat that was in the stadium. They actually took it out and gave him that seat for him to keep. They had him on field as part of a pregame ceremony later that year when they were, talking about
I mean, they had that planned, obviously.
And then, so you got the seat, you got to be down the field. So you probably got some other free swag and stuff involved in that. So I was like, man, that's pretty cool.
The way I look at it is one, it would have zero meaning to me 10 years down the line, zero. Like, what am I going to do? Be like, that's the problem I have with memorabilia collecting is, 10 years down the line, you're going to be like, oh man, this is the ball I caught, man. Palmeiro hit this 500. And literally most of the people that you say that to would be like, so?
Right.
Like, nobody would care.
Especially because you use PEDs now.
Well, no, but I'm just saying, like, for most everything, it's like, you'd just be like, whatever at that point. But it would mean more to the player and all that stuff. So, you get some, like, that's what you would do, right? Is just be like, hey, I want to do this, or season tickets, whatever.
Yeah. Hook me up. Maybe not season tickets, maybe give me like a mini plan behind the dugout.
I mean, let's not punish the guy by giving him season tickets and how he really has to go to baseball games all year. I mean,
I'll take the 12-game mini plan, do a couple weekend games.
Yeah, just on weekends.
Yeah.
The Sunday package.
Friday only or something Saturday. Like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you watching any hockey?
I actually have not watched any hockey during the conference.
Out, man.
I've been keeping up. The Bruins are playing some good puck.
Well, yeah, Carolina has hit the proverbial wall, and they're about to lose. They're down 3-0. The series has been, oh my gosh, was that Saturday or Sunday's game where it was 6-0 in the second? Was brutal, but
so it has been ultra competitive.
Well, it's been that was the game where it was a blowout, but before that it was competitive. I mean, Boston's obviously going to the finals now, which I'm excited about. But yeah,
I'm not excited about that because I hate Boston sports fans. Like you saw, like when the kid won over the Patriots won.
That's right. He's gonna have another one.
He's like now. 18 years, 17. Whatever.
Well, I got bad news
parades.
for you.
Oh, he's getting ready to go to another parade.
I got bad news for you. Boston's winning this thing because they're gonna steamroll San Jose or St. Louis, especially because they're gonna be sitting at home for basically a week. So San Jose, St. Louis,
fresh legs.
They might come in the first game and win the first game out of, because Boston's rusty, but Boston's the best team in the league right now. That's in the playoffs still and everything. But no, I mean, from that angle on there, but, it's San Jose, St. Louis series is all right. I just don't like either of those teams.
I know.
That's my problem.
Yeah, obviously San Jose beat the Kings, so we were kind of like, a few guys. And then
You mean the Knights?
Yeah, the Knights, and then I went Homer style with the Stars for the second round. They went to Game 7 and lost. I'm like, really? I gotta watch these two teams play. Like,
so St. Louis in that we didn't talk about it, but Game 7 of the second round series. I mean, it was in the second period, so it's not as controversial. It doesn't cost the game because it wasn't late in the momentum turner, but they had that goal disallowed that shouldn't have been not disallowed. I was like, why does St. Louis get all these calls in Game 7 all of a sudden?
It's insane.
I mean, seeing San Jose get all the calls in Game 7. But, we're coming down to it. But I'm equating hockey now to the NBA, where it's like it's a foregone conclusion the Warriors are winning it, and
now it's a foregone conclusion
like
the Bruins are winning
gonna
it.
roll away with. But the thing about hockey though is, I mean, the
thing about hockey though, I mean,
the goaltender could wake up with something not feeling right, and then he gets 3 goals scored on him, and all of a sudden he sucks the rest of the games, and you lose.
We saw it in the first round, several times where. I think it was like even like the Knights, San Jose, like when the Knights got out to like a 4-0 lead in the first period, and like, all right, we got to pull our goalie. I think like the Stars had that with Nashville too. They scored like 5 before like the middle of the second period. And they're like, all right, we got to pull our goalie in the next game. It was just lights out for the next 2 games or something like that. Well, I mean,
Carolina messed up majorly because they were down 4-0 at the end of the second, and they had instead of pulling their goalie, they put him back out there again, and they gave up like 3 more.
Yeah,
and I mean that's
after giving up 5 in Game 1.
Yeah,
too.
And that's you're just. You're not doing your goalie. I mean, you don't pull him because he's sucking. You pull him to get his mind straight.
Right.
And then he went right out there for the next game and promptly ended up losing again because he has no confidence. You didn't do him any favors in that instance or whatnot. And, so that's, Carolina's coaching has kind of let him down as well as the goal king. But, I mean, that can still happen to Boston. But, I mean, right now they're just looking
up 3-0. It's going to be tough.
But
we've seen it.
Scoring left and right. I mean, they're scoring on things that pucks just don't go in the net, and
they were held to 2 goals last game. So there you go. Things they're coming down. They're coming down.
The bigger issue is man.
I haven't really seen. I guess like some GMs are talking, like, man, what the heck? Like, is he just sucking right now? I haven't really seen the stats.
He is striking out left and right. He's not even putting the ball in play and like getting thrown out. He is striking out everywhere.
And he had an injury scare last night. Went up against the wall there and foul territory.
At this point, he should get injured because he can at least get out, sit down, and relax for a little bit.
219 average, not good. Yeah. 32 hits, 7 dingers. 25 RBIs. Let's see the strikeout. What's the okay right here? Looking at.
I can tell you right here. He started off his first 5 games in Phillies.
Yeah, 56 strikeouts, leading the league. Also leading the league in walks with 33. So that's something.
I mean, his first 5 games in a Philly uniform, he was batting .500, 652 on base record, whatever, 1.188. I don't know what that is. Is that OPS or whatever? With 3 home runs, 5 RBI, and just 5 strikeouts versus 7 walks. Since then, 39 strikeouts and just 19 hits from April 13th to May 13th.
And
Whoops.
he's one of those streaky players, though. He can turn around.
But this was the argument about not signing him to a big deal was these are his numbers for the last few years, or he's been injured. So,
Right. And now with potential knee injury, has a sore left knee. Now that's not going to help.
yeah. So he needs to be rested. This is the excuse. Sit him down for 3, 4,
Yeah.
at least 2 a game, at least 1 series. Blame the.
I don't give him the full series. I would say, you sit him now because I think they're going to play the last game against the Brewers.
But
So
you
you
could
sit him
pinch hit
now,
him too, right?
sit him Friday and Saturday, have him come back on Sunday.
Yeah, or you put him in the pinch, have him pinch hit or whatever to But baseball is such a mental sport that just be like, hey man, just come to the ballpark, but sit in the dugout. Don't even sit in the dugout, just sit in the back, and play cards or something. Don't even think about baseball
Right.
out here. But it just it goes to the argument that he was the guy. And meanwhile, Machado's lighting it up still in San Diego, but they're still sucking. So
Yeah. So what are you gonna do? that's as old Ron Washington would say, all coked up or whatever. That's sometimes the way baseball go.
yeah, but I know. But that was the argument about signing him. That's all I'm saying. Maximum Security, the horse that was DQ'd, is now suing them
Yes.
officially.
The horse isn't suing, but the owner is suing.
I don't know. Maybe the horse is pissed too. Nobody's actually talked to the horse, Jason.
So horse walks into a courthouse.
Well, maybe him and Zobrist were in the courthouse together filing papers.
Passing each other.
What are you here for? Yeah, I'm suing the Kentucky Derby. What are you here for? Yeah, getting divorced.
Well, sorry about that. Sorry to hear about that.
The last time this happened, the owner of that horse, like in the 30s or whatever, did sue and he won. It was overturned in appeal, but he didn't continue suing because he ran out of money. So
did he win the race? Like, did they overturn?
Yeah.
You're saying there's bets out there? Like, I just still hold on to my maximum security tickets?
I don't think they're gonna. If he ends up winning it, they're not gonna pay out those tickets. I'm sure there's some clause or something, but I don't know. I've watched 2 to 3 or 4 different people talk about it and everything, and it seems to be. At least the first court will rule in their favor, is what people are saying. Now then it'll be appealed, of course, because Kentucky's gonna, Here's the thing I don't get, and all this stuff's coming to light, right? It's just strange. So the 3 stewards vote, and they do it, and then they don't talk to anybody. So that looks shady on top.
And those stewards are just Churchill Downs stewards, right? Like they're not going to be at the Preakness this week.
No. But they're with the Kentucky Commission, and then there's no way to appeal that decision, which is why the Kentucky racing people denied their claim right away. There's no way to repeal it.
Right.
Then they suspend the jockey for 15 days.
Yeah.
Because he didn't control his horse. But he can appeal that to everybody and go up the chain or whatever. And it's like the Kentucky Derby went to, what's it been, 2 weeks since the Derby?
Yeah.
So it's almost like
I went on
Kentucky
the Preakness
Derby
this
went,
weekend.
like somebody in the Kentucky Derby went, guys, we better suspend that jockey. Like some lawyer somewhere is like, we better suspend that jockey. So it looks like, we're putting the blame on him,
Right.
on this and everything. It's just looking more and more shady type of a deal. Even in their claim, the lawsuit calls the disqualification process, quote, bizarre and unconstitutional. I don't know what's unconstitutional about it, but it definitely was bizarre. I don't know if that's illegal.
The thing that sucks about the DQ is, like the trainer and jockey were denied, any part of the purse. They didn't get anything.
Well,
from
everybody,
that, so.
Well, they went to 17th place, so they got that. But there's a far cry from the 1.86 million you get when you win.
But they get nothing of nothing.
Oh,
just
you go that far back?
Well, when it's a disqualification because you got DQ'd, like
no, they finished 17th place still though. So
yeah, but it's like if you got DQ'd and we do short track racing, like if somebody got DQ'd, they wouldn't get paid, but they would still show up finished, 18th or whatever. So,
but it just and then Kentucky Horse Racing Commission's like denying to talk about it, which you never talk about a lawsuit or anything. And it's just like, what is going on? I think this is a huge, and then they suspend the jockey, which is his livelihood. So they suspend the jockey, right? Knowing that he's not going to run in the Preakness. He has no horse to ride because that horse doesn't go, which he can get on another horse.
Right.
But, he wasn't going to get on one,
But
I
he can't
guess.
be there this week. I guess he can be there for Belmont, right?
It's certain date. It's 15 days, but it's not 15 days in a row. It's certain
So it's like
dates. Yeah.
Oh,
it's
gotcha.
weird.
Where he would like normally ride. So it's not like a starting pitcher gets suspended for 5 games and
And then he goes out.
he
and
literally
pitches his
doesn't.
first
He
stop.
misses one start, but pitches day 6. Like
and it's
so, he
not-
got an extra day rest.
Yeah, it's not in this article I got here because it was more about the lawsuit. But I don't know, man. I'm kind of rooting for him at that point because this is just like I said, just a horse that wasn't affected by it finishes second is the horse that goes and does. If it would have been one of the horses that was actually, and then here's the other side of it: the 2 horses that were affected said that the maximum security did nothing wrong. So then it's even got that side of it too, where they're like, hey, he did nothing wrong. He was running the race and came over, and it's our job to run it, and blah blah blah. So it's I don't know. That would be like the NFC Championship game with the Saints and whoever when the Saints got robbed,
Right.
in that call. And then like the Cowboys, challenge it and they win. And then they get to go to the Super Bowl because, they challenged it. And it's so weird, right?
We would have beat the Rams, but they, yeah.
It's like, what in the world just happened?
All right, so real quick, here's some headlines before we get off here. Jets fire their GM and name head coach Adam Gase intern GM. So,
But they
coach
are-
GM doing the XFL route there.
No, they are looking, and they have interviews with people for the GM spot. It's just Gase was given that title because you have to sign players. Like, this is the time where you sign players.
I want to see what kind of decisions Adam Gase can make here, real quick. Weird timing of the firing, though. I don't.
It's weird timing, but then it's shocking because he's the guy that brought Gase in to hire him. But the rumor on the street is, and ESPN came out with last week, that he felt like they paid too much for Le'Veon Bell. So the GM apparently, which is even weirder to me. Like, if that's true, then that means that the ownership is siding with the head coach, which is never a good sign. So everybody's saying the Jets are going to be good this year because of all their stability and they have a head coach that's good and everything.
Doesn't look so stable right now, does it?
Watch it go downhill.
According to sources, NBA is looking to move up the start of free agency talks. I believe about a day or two. So
Because they want to be more like the NFL and be relevant throughout the year as opposed to just a couple times.
yeah, they're pretty much the only league that kind of does stay relevant throughout the year. I feel like. But they're not NFL relevant, but they do stay.
Yeah, but they're getting better at that.
In the light, yeah.
That's why they did the draft lottery last night, and the draft's not till June. Remember last year when the Suns had the number 1 pick? I mean, we were tired of talking about it.
I know, 45 days of
And just like this year when the Cardinals had the number 1 pick, we were tired of talking about it.
I mean, it was good that first day. And you're like, heck yeah, we're going places. So, yep, we already talked on Maximum Security. Ooh, Canelo ordered to defend his new title by August 4th. Do you agree with being ordered to defend the title in boxing?
Here's the issue with that, right? Is the guy obviously doesn't want to fight, and he wants to just hang on to the title because it gives him notoriety and stuff. So, he needs to fight or he needs to give up the title. And so,
Short rest. I don't know if I agree with
well,
that or
what's
not.
it been? A year? and a
No, he
half?
just won it 2 weeks ago.
Oh, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, it was a
Whoa.
fight against Jacobs. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Canelo Alvarez, he beat that Jacobs guy like 2 weeks ago. We had a race that night. And now
So why is
he's,
he being ordered by August 4th to redo it?
I don't
Makes
know.
sense because you need resting period.
Less than 2 weeks after the fight, the IBF, whose belt Alvarez won from Jacobs, to add to his 2 titles that he has, order Alvarez to next make a mandatory defense against the number 1 challenger. Not going to try to say his name,
Yeah.
but they want that done by August 4th. So it's his
They want
new
the
title
fight or they want the
that he just won.
Oh, so this is the one he. Okay, I was thinking of those the ones he had. So this is the new one he won.
Yeah, so the new one he won from Jacobs.
They don't want him to fight by August 4th. Well, that's 3 months. That's,
they want it by August 4th. Defend it by August 4th.
Yeah, because generally, unless you get the crap beat out of you, generally it's a 2-month moratorium before you get back out there.
Right.
Like a month to start training again, and then go back out there. But that seems weird to me. I guess I'd have to learn more about that.
I just thought it seemed weird. I don't think you should be ordered to fight.
Yeah, I
I
was
mean, I
thinking
agree.
it
Like
was-
you should fight within a certain time frame, but you can't like I don't know if like ordering a guy 3 months after he wins.
That's not his. He went to get that title. That's not his normal. He wouldn't normally fight that title, right? I think that's what it is.
I don't know how boxing does all that stuff.
Well, it's just like everything else. I mean,
weird.
He has 2 titles, and one of them's for a weight class he's in, and one of them's for he went up to a weight class or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the IBF is. Yeah, no, but no, there's something weird about that.
We touched on the Zobrist thing. Patrick Kane, you know Patrick Kane, right?
The hockey player?
The hockey player. He scored a goal and had 2 assists to become the United States all-time leading scorer at the World Hockey Championships in a 6-3 win over Great Britain. So he now has the U.S. scoring record at the World Champs. Does it mean anything to you?
Why? Well, I mean, the Blackhawks were out of the playoffs well in advance. So, but yeah, why is he's old, man. Why is he's got health problems. Why is he playing for USA Hockey against meaningless tournament in Great Britain?
No idea.
That's my concern.
But he did surpass the great Hall of Famer Mark Johnson.
Maybe that's why he's
to
doing
get it. So maybe he just wanted to get that.
I mean,
that thing.
I have crushing news that I feel like I should be upset about, even though I'm not, but I feel like I want to be.
Oh, is this about the guy dying?
No, what guy dying?
Oh,
no. Oh, yeah, no. Well, right, now that you brought that up.
We won't bring that story to life.
Yeah, that's rather. You never know who's listening. Let's put it that way. I'll just say this, Jason.
He's not.
Just be careful. Just be careful what you say about people, because you never know when they're gone. No, Britney Spears may never perform again.
What?
Right?
Crazy.
I know. I feel.
That hurts.
I don't care, but I feel like I should, and I feel like I should be upset about that, right?
Childhood being taken away. Also want to give a quick shout out to Chris Sale, who fucking dominated yesterday.
Finally.
Career high, 17 batters, struck out in 7 innings against the Rockies. Was pulled after 108 pitches, though, at Fenway Park, and the Red Sox lost the game in 11 innings.
Because he had a horrible beginning of the season.
But 17 strikeouts in 7 innings, that's dealing, man. First player to get that many strikeouts in that amount of time.
Yeah, it's good for Boston. They've had a lot of bad news lately. So.
Well, they lost the game, so it doesn't matter, but still.
Yeah, but when your starting pitcher dominates, I guess, is, on there. First of all, Ben Zobrist, man, he's a nerdy looking dude. I didn't even realize that was him.
Yeah, he is a nerdy looking dude.
I saw his picture.
I saw it on the ticker the other day. Just want to throw this out there. I do not like seeing IL on my MLB ticker.
For the injured list?
Yeah, I'm a DL guy. Give me the disabled list back.
Yeah, but you're making him feel ostracized, Jason.
I know.
I haven't even paid attention to it, but
I just see it on the ESPN ticker.
Yeah.
But a lot of like sports players like, oh, he's on the DL. Like you listen to 98.7, like, oh, so and so's on the DL.
Yeah, they still say it. I know.
It's just ingrained in you.
Black Page, gosh, say that 10 times fast. Starts tomorrow, and all the hype with Tiger's back, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, he knows that course. He's won there. He's been there for 3 weeks on his yacht out 19 miles away.
Yeah, got some practice in there last week before the rains came this week. Now getting sued because of drunk driver. So, I mean, yeah, it's been a week for Tiger.
His restaurant, which...
Well, his restaurant's getting sued.
His girlfriend
runs.
Is in charge of it. He's just funds it or whatever. But
she might have deleted all the evidence and receipts that guy was even there, so who knows?
Yeah, they destroyed evidence. Or
I don't
whatever.
know what evidence you're destroying out of.
But they threw Tiger will get thrown out of that. They just threw Tiger's name in it because he's Tiger.
Exactly.
So. What about John Beeline leaving Michigan after he's 66 years old to go coach Cleveland Cavaliers?
Yeah, I thought that was weird.
Out of nowhere, too, right?
Out of nowhere.
I remember I had Get Out on that morning. I think it was Get Out. Where they announced that,
get up.
Everybody was like, "What? Why is he doing this?" Type of a deal. I just found that odd that he would leave Michigan because he's pretty much set there. He hasn't backed the national powers. They were, they're always a Final Four wannabe or whatever, and to go to Cleveland of all places.
Weird deal.
I don't understand. I'm starting to learn. I don't understand basketball. I need to figure out what's going on with basketball.
All I know about basketball is if there's a Euro in the draft, Mavericks going to get him.
So sit him on the bench.
Can't we just see that Guinea kid from being that Dallas Blue next year? Excited for it.
The what kid?
That kid from Guinea.
New Guinea.
We just said Guinea. It didn't say
Oh,
new.
new.
He's from the old Guinea. He's from the old Guinea. This guy's seen some shit.
Well, the WNBA got a new commissioner.
So East Finals start tonight. Bucks and Raptors. Who you liking? Give me a series prediction.
Here's the thing about that is it's the WNBA's first commissioner. Like WNBA didn't have a commissioner before.
I want to see it go 7 games. That'd be nice.
How did that league run? I guess some would argue it didn't run. Milwaukee's winning this in 5 games, 6 games.
I'll take Raptors in 6.
Milwaukee's the best team, man. Besides, they're the second best team in the league right now that's playing.
Give me Kawhi.
The Raptors barely got past injury and sick and dysfunctional Philadelphia.
Go with my heart here. Go with my heart. All right.
They had to come out in Philadelphia the day afterwards and be like, the coach isn't getting fired, because the first thing when they lost to a Hail Mary bouncer shot like that was fire the coach.
I saw that.
Coach needs to be fired. Embiid,
that's not a good look. I saw Embiid like, really? Like, that'd be bullshit.
He's missing games. Like he's texting the coach at 2 p.m. on game day saying he doesn't feel well, so he's not going to be able to play. And then the next day he's texting the coach at 10 in the morning. I'm good. I'm all recovered. I'm good to go. And man, it's just, and they could barely beat them. Yeah, no. 5-6 games.
Whatever I said earlier about Davis wanting to stay, according to reports, he still wants to trade. So,
yeah, I saw that earlier. I think Dan Patrick or somebody was talking about it. Yeah, I mean, he's dug his sand, but he's got to play this year, whether he wants to or not. He's got to play this year unless they get rid of him.
And we know the Pelicans, they're going to keep you there.
Well, unless they're
going to trade him.
Well, unless they're going to get the offer, a good offer for him or whatever. But I mean, like I said, I saw things last night saying that the Knicks won the number 1 pick. They would do the number 1 pick and like 2 players or 3 players for Anthony Davis, because then they'll sign KD and
right.
But KD's out for game 1. Definitely that calf injury is worse than what they're saying it is.
Yeah, well, he missed game 1. Is he out for game 2 or
they haven't said yet or anything. I mean, God, rest him the whole series. You're not going to need him.
Yeah, you won't need him.
The Warriors. Here's the other. He wants to get back though because the Warriors play better without him. So he wants to get back because if he was on the court last night, they wouldn't have won by 30 or whatever it was. So yeah,
probably would have been a closer game. Who knows?
All right, you got anything else?
Nope, I think I'm good. Caught up.
Exciting times today.
Exciting times.
I mean, we're coming up on the doldrums where it's only going to be baseball here coming up. So
that's why we got to add more stories. Can't just talk stick and ball. Thank God for the white power movement. We had some good stuff on that.
Well, we always talk about other stuff. I did see that new Seth Rogen movie. Did I tell you about that?
Yeah, you told me. How was it?
Really good. It was like old Seth Rogen where he was actually funny. I went into it thinking I was going to be bored for 2 hours. Like, it's going to be awful or whatever. And the movie was really good, but he's got to get off the drug stuff, man. Like, those are the worst jokes. Like, he's got to have them in there, I feel like in his contract, he's like, we got to have a couple funny drug scenes, Like, so
right.
He's going to the White House and... he's got to, empty his pockets. No, he's got to empty his pockets. So, he's got like pens and everything. And then he's like, oh, that's medicinal. Those are medicinal. Those help me with my medicinal. It's like, and people are laughing in the theater. And it's just like, this isn't funny, guys. Like,
yeah, probably the
whatever.
millennials. Who knows?
I don't even know what it was called.
Gen
Long
Xer?
Shot or whatever. But the other side of it is Charlize Theron or Theron or whatever. She says her name weird. But... like, that was the first movie I've enjoyed her in a long time, too. So, I recommend it. Go see it. My movie rankings.
There you go. Go see Long Shot.
It's funny.
IMDb gave it a 2.9 out of 10. So.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Everybody I've talked to said they liked it. Like,
no, never mind. That was the old Long Shot movie with in 2001. Never mind.
Because I'm like, really? Because everything I've said it was funny again.
No, that was the old love story.
Seth Rogen actually, when he first came in before Pineapple Express.
See, now we're getting to the point where we make remakes of films, and it's not even based on the original.
Well, it's not
thing.
It's not a remake if it's got the same name, is it?
I don't know. Just run out of ideas.
And do you join fan clubs, Jason, of music bands?
No.
Do you?
I figure you already had your Midland fan club.
Why would you suggest I do it, by the way?
I actually thought you were already in there. I figured you were just getting ready.
I got up this morning and saw that, and I was like, "What?" Man, you know my concert going ticket things is the day of or the day before the concert, and I'm on StubHub buying tickets. October 17th is a long way away.
It's a Thursday night, so
I don't know where I'm going to be.
You'll be free.
I can definitely go then.
yeah. See, I already looked. I gotcha.
That's not one of you. Does that mean you want to go? Is that where you're?
Yeah, I do see Midland. Yeah. Well, Thursday night, I can. Yeah, no issues.
Comerica. I'm going to see him in July, probably with Tim McGraw. And then I'm still planning for the June 28th. I got to work some stuff out because of the kids' schedule for the summer, but that's a Friday night. I'm thinking about that at Billy Bob still.
Going to Texas. Tejas.
Well, see the concert and then stay overnight and then out. I'm not going to.
Oh, really? That's your game plan? Well, you got to stop at Buc-ee's, right?
Yeah, if I drive or whatever. Yeah. But I got to clear that out. I mean, it's sold out. So I'm, $40. It'd be interesting to see $40 VIP general admission, which means you get close to the stage at Billy Bob's.
Yeah, Billy. See, here's the thing.
I wonder how much they'll be on secondary market, though, is what I'm getting at.
I'm not too sure if they sell on secondary market from Billy Bob's, but the thing with
people will have tickets.
So if you get the $40 VIP seats, it's pretty much you're inside the dance hall. Like there's places you can stand on the outside, which is better than what people pay for on the inside because they put you at tables. So it all depends on what table you get.
Yeah.
And there's no fucking room to move around. Like you literally sit at this table and people try to walk by and all bumping you. Like it's annoying actually. I did that.
So let's go regular general.
Yeah.
The $20 one.
Yeah. I did that once for a concert and I was sitting right up by the stage and the first table in the middle and people just come in it's oh, this is irritating,
So, I'm kind of a big bite, so people, whatever. Oh, well, here's the answer. General admission, of course. I see ones for $128. Pit row 1, $156.
Did you stop recording?
No, it's still going.
No, it doesn't look like it.
Oh,
There's a stop at 126.
still going there.
It was not going there. Huh. I don't know.
Weird. It's recording us. That sounds awkward. Now we have to cut that out.
Who knows? I guess we'll see.
Yeah. So anyway.
So if you got this,
cut that out.
Thanks for listening. God bless you. God bless the troops, and God bless America.